When people thought of Grand Theft Auto today, they pictured sprawling cities, cinematic heists, and hyper-realistic graphics, but the very first GTA game looked nothing like that. Released in 1997, Grand Theft Auto was a top-down, pixelated chaos simulator that felt more like a punk rock arcade game than a polished blockbuster. Players took control of a nameless criminal, dropped into one of 3 fictional cities: Liberty City, San Andreas, and Vice City. Each map parodied a real American city, and the mission was simple: climb the criminal ladder by stealing cars, causing destruction, and completing increasingly dangerous jobs for shady crime bosses. Despite its rough graphics and stiff controls, the game stood out for one major reason: freedom. Unlike most games of its time, GTA didn't lock players into levels or force a linear path. If someone wanted to run over pedestrians, start a 6-star police chase, or blow up 10 cars with a rocket launcher, they could. That raw freedom became the franchise's signature. Controversy followed. Critics called it a murder simulator. Politicians demanded bans, but the developers, DMA Design, later known as Rockstar North, leaned into the outrage. They reportedly hired a PR firm to stir up backlash on purpose, knowing the headlines would boost sales. And it worked. GTA became a cult hit. It was far from perfect. The camera was clunky, the missions repetitive, but it laid the groundwork for everything that came after. Grand Theft Auto 1997 didn't look like a billion-dollar idea, but it felt like one. Even today, it remains a chaotic little blueprint that shaped one of gaming's biggest empires. After the unexpected success of the first Grand Theft Auto, DMA Design went right away in dropping the franchise's first ever expansion pack, GTA London 1969, and instead of sticking to the fictional American cities we'd just gotten used to, the game takes a bold left turn, straight into swinging 60s London. This is the first, and still only, GTA game officially set outside of the United States. Out go the American police sirens and street slang, and in come Cockney accents, double-decker buses, and Austin Powers-style fashion. It's a clever remix of the original formula. Same top-down chaos, but with a British twist. You play as a nameless criminal once again, navigating a series of missions handed down through payphones scattered around the city, but this time your employers are Union Jack-waving gangsters with names like Harold Cartwright and Sid Vacant. You drive British cars, commit crimes across real-life landmarks like Buckingham Palace and Trafalgar Square, and escape bobbies instead of cops. Underneath the new coat of paint, it's still the same engine, with the same gameplay quirks. It's not exactly groundbreaking, but it does feel like a cool GTA reskin that embraces British pop culture, 1960s music, and national stereotypes in all the right ways. It even features actual licensed songs, something that'll become a GTA staple later on. What makes London 1969 especially interesting is how quickly it shows Rockstar's ambition. Just one game in, and they're already experimenting with new settings, different time periods, and international flavor. It's also the first example of GTA's fascination with remixing history through a criminal lens, something we'll see again in later. While it's often forgotten by newer fans, GTA London 1969 proves the series is more than just American crime stories. After the release of GTA London 1969, Rockstar followed up fast with a smaller, free add-on called GTA London 1961. It's not a full game or big expansion, more like a bonus pack for players who want more action. You can only play it if you already have the first GTA in the London 1969 pack, so it stays under the radar, but it still brings a few cool ideas to the table. This time, the game goes back to the early 1960s. The vibe is a little different, less hippie, more clean cut. Once again, you play as a criminal in London, doing jobs for gang leaders, stealing cars, and causing chaos across the city. But the biggest surprise is that you get a second city, Manchester. It's not huge, but it gives players a new map to explore, which is a big deal at the time. This is actually the first GTA game that lets you visit 2 different cities, and it helps the world feel a bit bigger and more exciting. The game is also tougher than the ones before it. The missions are trickier, and the cops react faster when you mess up. Another small but important addition is multiplayer. You and a friend can now play together through a local split screen, trying to out-crime each other. It's simple and clunky by today's standards, but it's one of the earliest signs that GTA might go multiplayer in a bigger way one day. While London 1961 doesn't get talked about as much as the main games, it shows Rockstar trying out new ideas. More cities, harder missions, and multiplayer? That's all stuff that shows up again in future GTA titles. GTA 2 drops in 1999, and while it still uses the top-down style from the earlier games, it tries to push the formula further. It adds more color, more chaos, and a few big new ideas that hint at what GTA will become in the future. This time, you're dropped into a strange city called Anywhere City. It's not based on a real place, and it's way more futuristic than past locations. Neon signs light up the streets, people wear odd clothes, and electric cars are everywhere. It almost feels like a mix between Blade Runner and a B-movie gangster film. But the thing is, in this game, the city is run by 7 different gangs, and they all hate each other. You can choose who to work for, and your choices matter. If you do jobs for one gang, another gang might start shooting at you on sight. The game also introduces respect levels. If a gang doesn't trust you, they won't give you missions. If you accidentally kill one of their members, you lose respect, and they might turn on you. It's not super deep, but it's the first time GTA tries to make your actions actually affect the world. GTA 2 also adds small details that make the world feel more alive. Pedestrians go about their day, rival gangs fight each other in the streets, and you can save your progress at churches, if you have enough cash. The graphics are slightly improved, and the game even has a version with live-action cutscenes during the intro, which is rare for the series. GTA 2 doesn't get as much love as the later 3D games, but it's an important step forward. It experiments with open-world design, gives players more choices, and starts playing with the idea of a living, breathing city. It's the last of the top-down GTA games, and the bridge between the old-school style and the massive leap that's coming next. This is the game that changes everything. Grand Theft Auto 3, released in 2001, takes the top-down crime formula and flips it into full 3D. For the first time ever, players get to walk, drive, and through a living, breathing city in third-person view. You play as Claude, a silent criminal left for dead by his girlfriend during a bank heist gone wrong. He escapes prison and ends up working for mob bosses, gangs, and shady contacts all across Liberty City, a gritty, New York-inspired place filled with dirty alleys, flashing billboards, and non-stop danger. What makes GTA 3 feel groundbreaking is how alive the world feels. You can steal any car, explore any street, start a police chase, or just listen to radio stations while cruising around. The city isn't just a backdrop, it reacts to what you do. Pedestrians scream and run when you draw a weapon, traffic piles up after a crash, and the weather can shift from sunny to stormy. The game also tells a more cinematic story. Each mission comes from a different character, with cutscenes, voice acting, and real personality. For the first time in the series, GTA feels like a crime movie you get to play. The cast even includes real actors like Michael Madsen and Joe Pantoliano, adding to the Hollywood feel. Combat and driving can be a little rough around the edges, but none of that matters. Players are too busy exploring, causing chaos, and testing what's possible in this new kind of game. Whether you're blowing up a car with a grenade or just driving a cab for fun, it always feels like your city, your story. Grand Theft Auto 3 became an instant classic. It sells millions, shocks the media, and basically rewrites the rules of what video games can be. Every open-world game that comes after, whether it's Assassin's Creed, Red Dead, or even Minecraft, owes something to this. It's the start of the 3D universe, and it turned Rockstar into one of the biggest names in gaming. After the huge success of GTA 3, Rockstar wasted no time in leveling up. Just 1 year later, they released Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, and it doesn't just ride the wave, it makes its own. Vice City takes everything GTA 3 does and polishes it to near perfection. The game looks better, plays smoother, and most of all, feels cooler. This time, the story follows Tommy Vercetti, a mobster freshly released from prison after 15 years. He's sent to Vice City to handle a drug deal, but things go wrong fast. The money and drugs vanish, and now Tommy's stuck cleaning up the mess. Over time, he climbs the ranks, builds an empire, and takes over the city one mission at a time. Vice City is based on 1980s Miami, and it wears that inspiration proudly. Neon lights, palm trees, fast cars, pastel suits, and synth-heavy music, it's all here. The game's soundtrack becomes iconic, packed with real 80s hits across multiple radio stations. There's a freedom in just driving along the coast at sunset, listening to Michael Jackson or Blondie on the radio. It makes the world feel alive. Gameplay-wise, the city is more interactive than ever. You can now buy properties, unlock safe houses, run businesses, and even build a criminal empire. Motorcycles and helicopters are introduced for the first time, giving players more ways to explore and escape. And with better storytelling, more voice acting, and cutscenes that feel like real movies, the characters feel bigger and bolder, especially Tommy, voiced by Ray Liotta. The tone is more colorful and less serious than GTA 3. It leans into dark comedy, over-the-top crime drama, and wild missions that feel like a blend of Scarface and Miami Vice. Vice. It's not just about crime, it's about style. Vice City becomes another hit, proving that GTA isn't a one-time wonder. However, by 2004, Rockstar had proven that Grand Theft Auto could rule the gaming world. Set in the early 1990s, San Andreas followed the story of Carl C.J. Johnson, a former gang member who returned home to Los Santos after the death of his mother. What started as a mission to help his family quickly grew into something much bigger. CJ's journey took him across an entire fictional state. From the gang wars of Los Santos to the neon casinos of Las Venturas and the countryside chaos of Red County, it was a true rags-to-riches story built on betrayal, loyalty, and revenge. When it launched, San Andreas was the largest and most ambitious GTA game ever made. Players explored 3 major cities, each based on real-world locations: Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Las Vegas. But it wasn't just about size. The level of detail was on a whole new level. The world felt more alive than ever before, packed with secrets, random events, and things to do. Gameplay evolved massively. Players could swim, climb walls, ride bikes, rob houses, skydive, play basketball, gamble, and even date girlfriends. CJ could gain muscle, get fat, learn kung fu, change clothes, visit barbershops, and eat at Cluck and Bell. For the first time, GTA included RPG-style elements. Your character's body, skills, and stamina changed based on how you played. The story dug deeper than previous games. Themes of police corruption, racial tension, and broken families hit harder, especially with standout characters like Officer Tenpenny, voiced by Samuel L. Jackson. The cast was stacked with major talent, the soundtrack was packed with 90s West Coast hits, and the missions ranged from grounded gang shootouts to full-on spy thrillers and jetpack heists. San Andreas also became known for its mysteries. Players spread wild theories about Bigfoot sightings, hidden aliens, and ghost cars. The map became legendary. Fans spent years exploring every corner, convinced there were still secrets left to uncover. When San Andreas launched, it blew everyone away. Critics praised its size and creativity. Fans called it a masterpiece. It sold over 27 million copies and became one of the best-selling PlayStation 2 games of all time. For many, this was the GTA that stood out the most, the one that felt endless. San Andreas left a massive mark on gaming history. Its world was huge, its story unforgettable, and its ambition unmatched. It didn't just raise the bar, it set a new one. In 2004, while everyone was hyped for San Andreas on console, Rockstar quietly released a very different kind of Grand Theft Auto: GTA Advance for the Game Boy Advance. GTA Advance took place in Liberty City, the same one seen in GTA 3, but it told a new story set a year before Claude's arrival. This time, players stepped into the shoes of Mike, a small-time criminal working with his partner Vinny. When Vinny was suddenly killed in a car bomb, Mike set out on a mission for revenge, pulling jobs and uncovering a conspiracy that ran deeper than he expected. Because of the Game Boy's limited power, the game returned to the top-down view used in the original GTA games. It didn't have voice acting, cutscenes, or a 3D world, but it managed to pack in a lot of what made GTA fun: carjacking, explosions, police chases, and open-ended missions. There were still different gangs, payphones for side jobs, and plenty of chaotic moments crammed into the tiny screen. While the graphics were basic and the controls a bit stiff, the game offered a surprisingly large version of Liberty City. Players could explore all 3 islands: Portland, Staunton Island, and Shoreside Vale, each with familiar landmarks, alleyways, and gang territories. GTA Advance didn't make a huge splash in terms of sales or fame, mostly because it launched around the same time as the much bigger San Andreas. But for handheld fans, it was a unique way to play GTA on the go. Though it was often overlooked, GTA Advance stood as an interesting bridge between the top-down classics and the massive open-world games. In 2005, Rockstar brought Grand Theft Auto to handhelds again, but this time it didn't look back. GTA Liberty City Stories, released first on the PlayStation Portable, marked the franchise's first 3D open-world experience on a portable console, and it didn't feel watered down. It felt like a real GTA game in your hands. The game served as a prequel to GTA 3, taking players back to Liberty City a few years before Claude's silent rise to power. This time, the story followed Tony Cipriani, a loyal mobster returning to the city after laying low for a while. He came back to earn his place in the Leone crime family, taking on dirty jobs, fighting rival gangs, and dealing with internal power struggles. Liberty City looked and felt familiar to fans of GTA 3, but the city had changed. Construction sites were still being built, and old buildings hadn't been demolished yet. Players got a glimpse of how the city evolved between the two games, and the developers used that timeline to add clever story connections and world-building details. Gameplay on the PSP was impressive for the time. Players could drive across the city, complete full missions, buy safe houses, and interact with a wide cast of characters, all on a handheld screen. Motorcycles were added back into Liberty City for the first time, giving players a new way to explore, and while the visuals were scaled down from the console versions, the experience still captured the feel of a full GTA game. The story leaned into traditional mafia themes, loyalty, betrayal, power, and featured plenty of classic GTA humor and over-the-top violence. The writing kept things sharp, and Tony's journey offered new perspective on characters fans had already met in GTA 3. Liberty City Stories later got a port for PlayStation 2, reaching a wider audience, though the PSP version remained the standout for pushing hardware limits. In 2006, Rockstar returned to the neon-soaked streets of Vice City, this time with a new character, a new storyline, and another impressive leap for handheld gaming. GTA Vice City Stories, released first on the PlayStation Portable, served as a prequel to the original Vice City, giving players a deeper look into the world they once ruled as Tommy Vercetti. This time, the story followed Victor Vic Vance, a soldier trying to support his sick brother and make a better life. But after getting caught up in a shady drug deal, Vic was dishonorably discharged from the military and dragged into Vice City's criminal underworld. What started as a struggle to survive quickly turned into a climb to the top of the city's drug empire. Vice City Stories expanded on what Liberty City Stories had already accomplished. The open-world design was bigger, the graphics improved, and the game introduced new mechanics, most notably the empire building system. Players could take over businesses, defend them from rivals, and earn money through different types of illegal operations. It was a more hands-on way to feel like a kingpin. The map brought back familiar streets, beaches, and clubs from Vice City, but also added new areas and changes to reflect the earlier setting. Story-wise, the game introduced new characters and brought back old ones, like Lance Vance, Vic's reckless brother, who later played a major role in Tommy's story in Vice City. Despite being on a handheld device, the game featured full voice acting, an original radio soundtrack, and missions that ranged from serious to downright bizarre. Whether players were jet skiing, flying helicopters, or fending off rival gangs, the world felt alive and chaotic in all the right ways. Vice City Stories was later ported to PlayStation 2, but as with Liberty City Stories, it was the PSP version that truly impressed fans. It pushed the hardware to its limits and told a surprisingly emotional and ambitious GTA tale. While often overlooked, Vice City Stories filled in the gaps of the original game's world and gave Vic Vance the spotlight he deserved. Grand Theft Auto 4 was a darker, more serious take on the series, with a focus on realism, emotion, and consequences. It marked a full leap into the HD era, and nothing in the franchise had ever looked or felt this real. GTA 4 followed Niko Bellic, an Eastern European immigrant who arrived in Liberty City chasing the American dream. He hoped for a better life and a fresh start, but quickly got pulled into the same cycle of violence and betrayal he was trying to escape. Niko's story was more grounded than any GTA protagonist before him. He wasn't chasing power or fame, he was haunted by his past, and desperate for meaning in a world that constantly let him down. Liberty City was completely reimagined. Gone was the cartoony feel of previous entries. This version of Liberty City felt like a living, breathing place, full of detail, personality, and weight. The city was modeled after New York, with boroughs that mirrored real-life neighborhoods. The physics, lighting, and animations were rebuilt from the ground up using Rockstar's new Rage engine, giving the world a more realistic look and feel. Driving had more weight, shooting had more impact. Even walking around felt slower and more deliberate. Some fans missed the fast, arcade-style gameplay of earlier titles, but others praised GTA 4 for being bold enough to change things up. The game introduced a relationship system that let players hang out with friends and cousins, go bowling, or just grab a drink. It wasn't for everyone, but it gave Liberty City a human side. There were also multiple endings based on the choices Niko made throughout the story, something new for the series at the time. Of course, players could still steal cars, escape the cops, and cause all kinds of mayhem, but the tone of the series made a huge turn. GTA 4 was more tragic than triumphant. When it launched, GTA 4 received near-universal praise. Critics called it a masterpiece. It sold over 25 million copies and won multiple Game of the Year awards. While some fans debated whether the game was too serious, its impact on the series was undeniable. In 2009, Rockstar expanded the world of GTA 4 with its first major story DLC, The Lost and Damned. This gritty expansion pulled players out of Niko Bellic's world and dropped them into the rough, biker-driven life of Johnny Klebitz, the vice president of the Lost Motorcycle Club. Set during the same time period as the main GTA 4 story, The Lost and Damned offered a new perspective on Liberty City. While Nico's story focused on immigration and personal struggle, Johnny's journey was all about fractured brotherhood, leadership, and staying afloat in a world that kept falling apart. Some missions overlapped with Nico's, and the two characters even crossed paths, giving fans a bigger view of what was happening across the city. Johnny wasn't chasing wealth or power. He was trying to keep his gang from tearing itself apart. The main conflict centered on his rivalry with Billy Gray, the club's reckless president who had just returned from rehab and wanted to drag the crew back into violent turf wars. Their growing tension pushed the story forward and gave the game a different tone, less about rising up and more about holding on. Gameplay shifted to focus more on motorcycles with improved bike controls and a feature that let players ride in formation with their gang. Johnny could also call other members for help, making it feel more like part of a crew. New weapons were added too, like the automatic pistol and a powerful grenade launcher. The city looked a bit different as well, grittier and more worn down, matching the tone of the story. The Lost and Damned introduced features like gang wars, clubhouses, and side jobs that made it feel like its own full game. And it wasn't just extra missions, it was a standalone chapter with its own voice and weight. Within the same year as The Lost and Damned, Rockstar released a second major expansion for GTA 4, The Ballad of Gay Tony. This time, the story shifted to the flashy, high-end side of Liberty City nightlife, following Luis Lopez, a nightclub manager and bodyguard to the legendary party promoter Tony Prince, also known as Gay Tony. The previous DLC focused on brotherhood and grime, but this one brought back the wild, over-the-top energy that many fans had missed. Luis found himself stuck between loyalty to Tony, pressure from criminal gangs, and the temptations of fast money and fast living. The missions were louder, the weapons more explosive, and the tone far more colorful than anything in the main game. Players could base jump from buildings, fight in underground cage matches, and use new gear like gold-plated SMGs and parachutes. It felt like a return to GTA's more playful side, but still grounded in strong character writing and solid storytelling. But unlike the explosive style of The Ballad of Gay Tony, GTA Chinatown Wars took a very different route. Released in 2009 for the Nintendo DS, it marked the franchise's boldest experiment, bringing Grand Theft Auto to a touchscreen handheld, complete with stylus controls, comic book visuals, and a new gameplay structure that mixed old-school style with modern features. The story followed Huang Li, a spoiled but sharp young man from Hong Kong who came to Liberty City to deliver a family heirloom to his uncle. But things quickly spiraled out of control after he was ambushed, left for dead, and forced to navigate the city's criminal underworld to survive and restore his family's honor. Despite the DS's hardware limitations, Chinatown Wars packed in a ton of depth. It returned to the top-down camera angle used in the original GTA games, but upgraded it with vibrant cel-shaded graphics. It also introduced touchscreen mechanics for tasks like hot-wiring cars, assembling sniper rifles, and hacking devices, using the DS's unique features to keep the gameplay fresh and interactive. One of its most talked about features was the drug dealing system. Players could buy and sell narcotics across neighborhoods, learning market trends and maximizing profits. It became a full-side economy and added a strategic layer to the usual mayhem. The game also delivered an impressive open-world experience. Liberty City was scaled down, but still full of missions, side jobs, collectibles, and action. Radio stations, pedestrian chatter, and classic GTA humor were all intact. It didn't sell as much as other entries, but Chinatown Wars earned strong critical praise for its innovation and creativity. And 4 years after the last release, Rockstar returned in 2013 with Grand Theft Auto V, a game that didn't just meet expectations, it smashed them. This was more than just a new chapter. It was a full evolution of everything that had come before. Bigger, bolder, and more detailed than any previous entry, GTA 5 pushed open-world gaming to a whole new level. Set in the fictional state of San Andreas, the game followed 3 playable protagonists: Michael DeSanta, a retired criminal living a luxurious but miserable life in witness protection; Franklin Clinton, a young repo man looking to escape gang life; and Trevor Phillips, a drug-running psychopath who lived off the grid and caused problems wherever he went. For the first time in GTA history, players could switch between characters at nearly any moment, even in the middle of missions. This added variety and opened the door for more ambitious storytelling. Michael might be sniping from a rooftop, Franklin might be drifting around the corner in a getaway car, and Trevor might be flying a stolen helicopter overhead, all in the same mission. The map was massive and packed with detail. Los Santos and its surrounding countryside were brought to life with a level of realism no one expected. From high-end shops and Vinewood mansions to desert trailer parks, mountaintops, and ocean floors, every corner of the world had something to offer. Side activities like yoga, golf, hunting, street races, and scuba diving helped fill the space between missions. One of the most exciting additions was the heist system. These cinematic, multi-part missions let players pick their crew, choose how to approach the job, and divide the take. It felt like planning a real movie-style robbery, and it added strategy to the usual action-heavy gameplay. But the game's biggest impact came just 2 weeks later, with the release of Grand Theft Auto Online. What started as a simple multiplayer mode turned into a gaming empire of its own. Players created their own character and dropped into Los Santos with nothing but a phone and a dream. At first, the mode was limited. Heists weren't even available yet, but Rockstar kept building. Over time, GTA Online transformed into a massive online playground where players could form crews, buy apartments, start biker gangs, smuggle weapons, run nightclubs, rob casinos, and explore entirely new storylines. They could also race custom tracks, participate in weekly events, grind for in-game cash, and blow hours customizing vehicles, weapons, and outfits. Every few months brought a major update, new missions, locations, and game-changing features. It became a platform, not just a mode. By 2021, GTA Online was released as a standalone game, no longer tied to GTA 5. It had become one of the most played and most profitable games of all time, bringing in billions of dollars in revenue and hosting a huge, dedicated player base across multiple console generations. Back in single player, GTA 5 was breaking records of its own. It earned near-perfect review scores and countless Game of the Year awards. It made $800 million on its first day and crossed $1 billion in 3 days, making it the fastest-selling entertainment product in history at the time. The game kept selling well into the future, with re-releases on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and later PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Each version added upgrades like better visuals, smoother performance, and even a first-person mode, letting players see the world through their character's eyes for the first time. What set GTA 5 apart was the sheer attention to detail. Every street, shop, conversation, and radio ad felt intentional. The writing was sharp, funny, and sometimes surprisingly emotional. Even when players weren't doing missions, there was always something to explore, or some unexpected moment to discover. Whether you were flying a fighter jet across the map, investing in the stock market, chasing UFO rumors, or just sitting on the beach watching the sunset, Los Santos felt like a living, breathing world. Grand Theft Auto 5, along with GTA Online, wasn't just a hit, it became a cultural landmark. For many players, it was more than a game. It was a second home, a sandbox for chaos or creativity, and a place they kept coming back to for years. Even a decade later, Rockstar's version of San Andreas continued to grow, with no signs of slowing down. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and you also might enjoy watching these. Thanks.